Hello, so I'm back for math. So today we are going to finish this packet. So I'm going to do about 4 pages with you again, and then you're going to continue it and finish the packet and just turn those pages into me. So we're just starting on the next page that we did not do yesterday. Okay, so this one just says draw hands on the clock face to show the time. So just for kind of that review again on this. Now this time today, the first page is all to the O clock, so this is a pretty easy, should be a pretty easy one for us. Okay, so here, this one says, the digital clock says 2 o'clock, so I need it to say 2 o'clock on my analog clock. So I'm going to put my hour hand to the 2, my minute hand is going to go up to the 12 to say 2 o'clock. Okay, my second one, it says 8 o'clock. So how would it look on an analog clock if it was 8 o'clock? My hour hand would be pointing to the 8. My minute hand would be up to the 12 and touching that 12. Remember, that's my long hand. Okay, the next one says 6 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to point down to the 6. My minute hand's going to go up to the 12. All right, let's look at this one. So this one says 7 o'clock. So again, my hour hand is going to be my shorthand. It goes to the 7. My minute hand goes up to the 12 because that's o'clock. It's starting a new hour. Okay, the middle one says 5 o'clock. So my hour hand is going to point to the 5. My minute hand is going to go up to the 12 to be o'clock. This one says 4 o'clock. So I'm going to go, my hour hand points to the 4, my minute hand's up to the 12 to say 4 o'clock. All right, last line, this one says 9 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to point to the 9, my minute hand's going to go up to the 12 and say o'clock. Okay, this one says 3 o'clock. So I'm going to go hour hand to the 3, the minute hand up to the 12. And then my last one says 1 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to go to the 1. My minute hand's going to go up to the 12 to say 1 o'clock. All right. Okay, go ahead and turn your page and flip it over. So here we're doing the same thing. So my first clock says 6 o'clock. So my digital clock says 6 o'clock. I need to show 6 o'clock on an analog clock. So I'm going to show 6 o'clock. Okay, next one is 1 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to go to the 1. My minute hand's going to go up to the 12. Okay, this one says 7 o'clock. So my hour hand's to the 7. My minute hand is up to the 12. Okay, this one says 2 o'clock. So again, my hour hand's to the 2. My minute hand is up to the 12. This is going to be all to the hour. Okay, this one says 5 o'clock. So I'm going to go my hour hand to the 5. My minute hand is up to the 12. Okay, 4 o'clock. So I'm going to go my hour hand to the 4. My minute hand up to the 12. Okay, the bottom row, this one says 8 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to go to the 8. My minute hand is up to the 12. 3 o'clock. My hour hand is to the 3. My minute hand is up to the 12. And then the last one is 10 o'clock. So my hour hand goes to the 10. My minute hand goes up to the 12. All right, go ahead and just flip your packet over. So this one we get into a little bit harder. So we started working on this at school before we left, but we had done the hour, the half hour, and we were working on the quarter hours. So that 15 and the 45. So this one has a combination of all of that in there. So we're going to draw hands on our analog clock to show our times. The biggest thing we have to remember is where does our hour hand go if it's at the 30 or at the 45 or the 15 even. Okay, so this first one says 2:30. So if I think about my hour hand, my minute hand is halfway around the clock. So that means that my hour hand is halfway in between the 2 and the 3. So it's still in the 2 house, but it's moving towards the 3. Because remember, as our minute hand goes around, our hour hand slowly moves between the 2 and the 3. Okay? And then my minute hand's going to be down to the 6 to show 30. Because remember, we count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay? This one shows 8:15. So now it's only a quarter of the way around our clock. So my hour hand is just past the 8. It's not quite on the 8 anymore, but it's kind of just past it. It's starting to move. Okay, and then my minute hand's going to go over to my 3 because that's 15, remember? 5, 10, 15 is going to be at that 3. Okay, this one, it says 6:45. So now this is 3/4 around my clock. It's almost to the 7. So where do you think my hour hand needs to be? My hour hand's going to be closer to the 7 than the 6, but it's not quite at the 7 yet. And then my minute hand is going to be to the 9, which shows 45. So 6:45. Okay, let's look at this one. 7:45. So again, where's my hour hand going to be? This one's almost around the clock at 45. So I know my hour hand's going to be closer to my 8 than my 7, but it's not at the 8 yet. And then 45 is going to be to that 9, because if we count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So it shows 7:45. Okay, this one's an easier one, 5 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to point right at my 5. My minute hand's going to go up to my 12. So it's going to show 5 o'clock. Okay, the next one says 4:15. So this is only a quarter of the way around my clock, so that's not too far. So it's going to just go my hour hand's going to go kind of right past the 4. And then my minute hand's going to go to the 3, which says 15. So 4:15. Okay, so 9:30. So remember at the 30, it's halfway around my clock. So that means my hour hand is halfway in between the 9 and the 10. And then my minute hand's going to go down to the 6 to show 9:30. Because it's moved halfway between the 9 and the 10. Okay, 3:45. So this one is almost to the 4. So that means my hour hand needs to be kind of almost to the 4. So I'm going to have 3, and then my minute hand is going to go to the 9, which is 45. So 3:45. Okay, and then my last one is 1:30. So it's halfway around. So that means it's going to be halfway in between the 1 and the 2. And then my minute hand's going to be down to the 6 to show 30. So 1:30. Okay. All right. Turn your page. So this one, it goes back kind of to easy. So you're going to just do the time to the O clock. So 12 o'clock. Well, this is when we have to kind of use our arrows. So there's my minute hand, or my hour hand to the 12, and then my minute hand to the 12. So 12 o'clock. They're both pointing up there. Okay, let's do 9 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to go to the 9. My minute hand's going to go to the 12. Okay, let's do 11 o'clock. My hour hand's going to go to the 11. Oops, that was kind of a funny hour hand. And my minute hand goes to the 12. Okay, 2 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to go to the 2. My minute hand's up to the 12. 5 o'clock. My hour hand goes to the 5. My minute hand goes to the 12. 4 o'clock. My hour hand's going to go to the 4. My minute hand's to the 12. Okay, last row. We have 8 o'clock. So my hour hand's going to go to the 8. My minute hand's going to go to my 12. Okay, 3 o'clock. My hour hand goes to the 3. My minute hand goes to the 12. And then the last one is 10 o'clock. So my hour hand goes to the 10. My minute hand goes to the 12 to show 10 o'clock. All right, so you're going to do the next 4 pages. It's really 2 pages, but 4 pages back to back. Okay, and you're going to draw the hands on the clock. So this first page is all to the O clock. So you're just drawing the hands, what we've done this week. Okay, this one gets a little bit harder because now we're doing like 105 to 10. So you have to think about that. So if it's 105, my hour hand's going to go to the 1, and my minute hand is also going to go to the 1. So it shows 105. So your parents might have to help you with this page a little bit. The next one is 210. So my hour hand's going to go to the 2. My minute hand's also going to go to the 2 because it shows 210. So this one is where you're going to the same number. Okay, so my hour hand 3:15. My hour hand's going to go to the 3. My minute hand's also going to go to the 3. So I'm going to have them go into the same number the whole time going through this. Okay, till we get to the bottom. At the bottom, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, all right. Then on the next page, same thing. So draw your hands on the clock to show the time. We've got some harder ones on there, but if you're counting by 5s, you should be able to figure out where your minutes go. Okay, and then the very last page, same idea. Draw your hands on your clocks. Okay, we started getting into some of these harder ones with 35 and 20 and all that before we went in our opening. So I was doing some harder problems with you. So I want those last 4 pages turned into me, or the 2 front and back. Okay, and then the last thing I want you to do is your set D in Rocket Math. Okay, so again, have your parents orbit around with you for 2 to 3 minutes, just practicing those, and then do the 1-minute test. So set the timer for 1 minute, do as many of those problems you can do in 1 minute. Okay, so this is the Rocket Math addition set D. Okay, so you're going to do that for me, and I want that turned in as well. All right, I hope you guys have a good day and a great weekend, and we will see you next week. All right, bye.